Alright, so my name is Katie Murphy, and today I will be showing you Geometer's Sketchpad. So first we're going to play with the tool. So Geometer's Sketchpad has many functions that you can use. So first we have our selection tool. So right now there's nothing on the page. However, if we add something on the page, say a point, using the point tool, we can put a point anywhere on the page. And then if we want to come and select those points, we can click on them and we can deselect or select them. Next we have our circle tool, which we can use to create a circle of differing sizes. And if we ever want to change that or stop using the circle tool, we just click on the mouse tool again. We can move them around as we please. We can also change the size if we ever needed to. The next tool we have here is our line segment tool, which we can also use for line segments. We can also use it to create rays. And we can also use it to create lines. We can do that just by holding down on the button, and we can switch between the three of them. And again, if we use our selection tool, we can move them at will. We can move them around, change their sizes, whatever we feel like doing. The next tool is our shape tool. Now there's 3 different ways we can make a shape. The first way is, let's say we want to make a triangle. We put 3 points, and then when we're done we click on the end point and we have a triangle. And then to move it again I have to click on the selection. But this one just fills it in with a color. But we can still move it around at will, change it to any size we want. Then, looking at the shape tool, similar to the line segment tool, we just hold it down to look at our options. We have one where it will show the lines and it'll also fill it in color. So now you can see there's line segments and then it fills the shape with color. And let's make this one a quadrilateral. So we'll just click on it at the end. So now if we want to move it around, we can make it any shape we want, however big we want. And then the final one for the shape tool is just the outline with no filling at all. Let's make a pentagon of sorts. And again, we can move this around into any shape we want. Just move that line out of the way. The next tool is our text box tool. So for the text box tool, there's many uses. The first one is that we click on a point, we can letter them. So any point on a line segment or any point on a shape, we can letter them. And if we want to change those letters, we can easily double click. It'll say show label, and we can just change it to say point Z. Hit OK, and it changes. Another thing that we can do is if we click on the outside area, we can add a text box by double clicking on the outside area. We can just write random stuff, but we can also add math tools. So if we want to make a line, we have line AB. We can turn that off. We can add array, AB. Turn that off. We can have line AB. and arc AB. And I know the B's are not the correct way to write that, but just for simplicity's sake. We can also turn that off. We can do fractions, so x over y. We can also write square roots, 2 squares, so x squared. Subscripts, you just gotta be really careful about those. It's a bit finicky with the formatting, just a little bit. Parentheses if we needed them, although usually you can just put those on your keyboard. Brackets, absolute values. Also, since we're messing with geometry, angles. So we can write angle A. Or we can also do degree symbols, so 80 degrees. If we needed pi for anything. Also the congruent symbol, because again, we're doing geometry. And if we needed more math tools, here's a full list of them that we could play with. And with the text, we can change the color to anything we want, the font. We can change the font however we want it to. We can change the size, the color, bold, italicized, anything that you might see on a word processor. Then if we wanted to make the text bar go away, we can just exit out. And to get out of the text box itself, the text box we can also move around when it's highlighted to wherever we want. And to get out of it, you just click out of the text box. The next tool is our marker tool. So our marker tool is really cool because you can draw angle lines. You can also draw tick marks for congruency. And say you want to change those tick marks, you can right click on them, open arrows, and they'll change, or solid arrows. You can also change the direction. Also, the marker tool can just draw. So if we wanted to, say, highlight a certain point, we could draw a circle around it, which is very cool. This tool is kind of our helpful tool, so we can kind of see what all the drawings are dependent on, what's dependent. It's just kind of the help tool. Honestly, a lot of people don't use this much, but it can be helpful if you have like a big demonstration and you kind of lost thought of what everything is connected to. To turn it off, you just click out of it. It also helps highlighting stuff and moving it out of the way. Now this tool is like tools that we can take from other folders. So if we had a folder open already, we can insert tools that are already there. So centroid of a triangle. Let's go to this triangle here already. If we want to draw the centroid, there it is. So it would already give us the centroid. So those are all the things in our toolbar here. However, GSP can do, or Geometer Sketchpad, we call it GSP for short, can do a lot of other things. For instance, if you go up to the actual toolbar up below, if we want to add another page, we can go to File, Document Options, go down here to Plus, we can either add a blank page or duplicate a page from another document that's already open. In this case, I'm just going to add a blank page. I'm just going to move this up one, hit OK. So here's another blank page. Now, one thing that's cool about GSP is that you can do demonstrations, movements, as well as you can measure stuff and do transformations, which I think is very cool. So let's say I want to make a set of parallel lines. I draw my line segment, hit construct. Actually, wrong. Draw my line segment, then I make a point. Make sure I select both the point and the line segment. Hit construct, parallel line. Now I have a line parallel to this line segment from this. Now, if I wanted to just have two line segments that are parallel to each other, I can literally draw a line segment. That was really bad. I can literally draw a line segment on the line, and it'll glow red when it's on top of it. And then this line becomes dotted. So then what I can do is hide everything that I'm not using. So I would just select everything, and there are a couple ways you can go about this. You can go to Edit, Action, Hide Show, and it will go away. And so that creates a button that hides. And another way that this can work is if you just highlight everything and then hit Control H, and it hides. So now this line is dependent on this line, so I can move it around wherever, but it will always be parallel. So then if I wanted to, say, transform something, say translate, first, let's say I wanted to translate this line. I'd highlight the line, hit transform, and then I'd hit translate. And let's just say I wanted to go up 1 centimeter, a rectangular vector. So horizontal, 1, fixed distance, 1, hit translate, and here's the new line, completely dependent on this line. Another thing I can do is rotate the lines. So again, transform, rotate. Just say it was a 90-degree angle and this was our center. Hit rotate, and now we have a rotated line. Now, another thing that we can also measure the line. So we just select what we want measured. In this case, this line. So we just hit measure, length, and here is the actual measurement in centimeters. We can also measure angles. So let's just draw an angle mark here. There are two ways you can do this. You can either click on the angle mark, go to measure angle, there it is. You can also click on the 3 points that connect the angle. So in this case, D, A, D, go measure angle, and there it is. Another thing that we can do is movements on the line. So let's say I have a random angle and the line in between them. And let's just move this out of the way. Now, let's just say we want to move this point from here to here. All you do is hit the points in the order that you want them to move. You go to Edit, Action, Movement, and you go following the moving destination. You hit OK, move point, and it will slowly move to the point that you want. Now also, besides move, and we can also make the points go in the opposite direction as a reset button. So again, hit them in the opposite way that I hit them the first time. Hit movement. Okay. So this is the reset. And if we wanted to change the name, all we have to do is right click go to Label, and then we can just hit say Reset. Okay, so now this is the reset. So now we can hit Move Point. There it goes. And then we can hit Reset. Okay, I think I might have hit it in the wrong destination. Oh, right, my bad. Let's just make another point. This can be our reset. We're just gonna reset, we're just gonna delete this one, relabel this one, then I'm just gonna hide this point. So we're gonna move the point to its original location, and then we're gonna reset it. And that's just a simple movement. There are a lot more complicated ones that we could do, but those are pretty time consuming and it's not really a play thing. So one other thing that you can do is you can change the colors and thickness of the lines and the points. So say we wanted it to be thick, we can also change the color. You can do all this by right-clicking. Another thing you can do is if it's selected, you could go to Edit, Properties, actually it's Display, and then Color, or Point Style, or Hair Style, or Line Style, either or. Click on the different ones. And so that's basically the different plays. Now, to use this in the classroom, we can use it in a matter of different ways. So one way you can use it, as I said, is using for demonstrations. Another way is you can create worksheets off of it, because like I said, this has a very good text bar with all kinds of mathematical applications that might be harder to write out in other things. So say I wanted to do x minus 2 is equal to 0 and have students solve that. It may be a little bit harder to do. And let's change the font size a little bit. Maybe harder to write out in, say, a Word document, but here I wrote it out with ease. So we can use it to write out worksheets in our classroom. We can use it to do demonstrations. One of the ways I like to do best is through demonstrations. So I actually have a previously made demo that I'll pull up here. And so basically, I made this demo a while ago. It represents the Pythagorean theorem. So this is a demonstration of why the Pythagorean theorem works. So students may not understand where the a squared plus b squared equals c squared comes from when it comes to the Pythagorean theorem when trying to find a side of a right triangle. So I created this demonstration, which if you click the demonstration tab here, it shows both of these as all of these as squares. And then it actually shows that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that would be a cool way to show your students what the Pythagorean theorem actually means and to show that it's actually true. So if I reset it, they can see how a square, both these squares, form to make c squared, which is a cool way to think about. So again, Geometer Sketchpad is a very handy tool. Although it is completely computer software, I believe it's free to the public to use. And it's a really cool software, but it may be hard if your classrooms are more of a Google classroom, so a web-based. But if they're more computer-based, this would be a great tool to have. And if I want to save this, I can just go to File, Save As, and let's just say Sketchpad. Then hit Save, and there we go. So that here is my pitch for Geometer's Sketchpad. Thanks for watching.